जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय।
जय
न्यूयॉर्क रथ यात्रा महोत्सव की जय।
जय
गंगा माई की जय।
जय
यमुना माई की जय।
जय
तुलसी महारानी की जय।
जय
भक्ति देवी की जय।
जय
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय।
जय
सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय।
जय
हिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि
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 बोल।
बोल। All glories to assembled devotees.
हरे कृष्णा
All glories to assembled devotees.
हरे कृष्णा
All glories to assembled devotees.
हरे कृष्णा
All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 19. The appearance of Sukadev Goswami, Text 6.
हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna, Mataji, you're sharing the screen.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Ya Vailasachri Tulasi Vimishra Krishnangri Renvabhyadhikambu Netri Punati Lokan Ubhayatra Seshan Kastam na seveta marishyamanaha. Ya Vailasachri Tulasi Vimishra Krishnangri Renvabhyadhikambu Netri Punati Lokan Ubhayatra Seshan Kastam na seveta marishyamanaha. Ya Vailasachri Tulasi Vimishra Krishnangri Renvabhyadhikambu Netri Punati Lokanubhayatra Seshan Kastam na seveta marishyamanaha.
या वैलसच्छ्री तुलसी विमिश्रा कृष्णाङ्घ्रिरेण्वा अभ्यधिकाम्बुनेत्री पुनाति लोकान् उभयत्र शेषान् कस्तां न सेवेत मरिष्यमाना.
या वैलसच्ची तुलसी विमिश्रा कृष्णाङ्घ्रिरेणाभ्यधिकाम्बुधि नेत्री पुनात्रिलोकान् अभयत्र शेषान् कस्तां न सेवेत मरिष्यमानः मानः. हरे कृष्णा.
Krishna. Meeta Mataji, would you like to try?
Sure. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Ya
Krishna.
Vailachashri Tulasi Vimishra Krishna Girirenava Adhyati Kambunetri Punati Loka Ubhayatra Sesha Kastamana Sevata Marisamanaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Anyone else would like to try? Okay. We'll do word-to-word translation. Ya, the river which, why, always, Lasat, floating with. Sri Tulasi, Tulasi leaves. Vimishra, mixed. Krishna Angri, the lotus feet of the Lord Sri Krishna. Renu, dust. Abhyadhika, auspicious. Ambu, water. Netri, that which is carrying. Punati, sanctifies. Lokan, planets. Ubhayatra, both the upper and lower, or inside and outside. Sa Ishan, along with Lord Shiva. Kaha, who else? Tam, that river. Na, does not. Seveta, worship. Marishyamanaha, one who is to die at any moment. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The river by which the king sat to fast carries the most auspicious water, which is mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord and tulasi leaves. Therefore, that water sanctifies the three worlds, inside and outside, and even sanctifies Lord Shiva and other demigods. Consequently, everyone who is destined to die must take shelter of this river. Purport. Maharaj Parikshit, just after receiving the news of his death within 7 days, at once retired from family life and shifted himself to the sacred bank of the Yamuna river. Generally, it is said that the king took shelter on the bank of the Ganges. But according to Srila Jiva Goswami, the king took shelter on the bank of the Yamuna. Srila Jiva Goswami's statement appears to be more accurate because of the geographical situation. Maharaj Parikshit resided in his capital Hastinapur, situated near present Delhi, and the river Yamuna flows down past the city. Naturally, the king would take shelter of the river Yamuna because she was flowing past his palace door. And as far as sanctity is concerned, the river Yamuna is more directly connected with Lord Krishna than the Ganges. The Lord sanctified the river Yamuna from the beginning of his transcendental pastimes in the world. While his father Vasudeva was crossing the Yamuna with the baby Lord Krishna for a safe place at Gokul on the other bank of the river from Mathura, the Lord fell down in the river, and by the dust of his lotus feet, the river at once became sanctified. It is especially mentioned herein that Maharaj Parikshit took shelter of that particular river, which is beautifully flowing, carrying the dust of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna mixed with tulasi leaves. Lord Krishna's lotus feet are always besmeared with the tulasi leaves, and thus, as soon as his lotus feet contact the water of the Ganges and the Yamuna, the rivers become at once sanctified. I'll read that line again. Lord Krishna's lotus feet are always besmeared with the tulasi leaves, and thus, as soon as his lotus feet contact the water of the Ganges and the Yamuna, the rivers become at once sanctified. That means they are becoming sanctified by the tulsi leaves. The Lord, however, contacted the river Yamuna more than the Ganges. According to the Varaha Purana, as quoted by Srila Jiva Goswami, there is no difference between the water of the Ganges and the Yamuna. But when the water of the Ganges is sanctified 100 times, it is called the Yamuna. Similarly, it is said in the scriptures that 1,000 names of Vishnu are equal to one name of Rama, and 3 names of Lord Rama are equal to one name of Krishna. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for joining today's Srimad Bhagavatam session. Today is New York Rath Yatra. All devotees are going to attend Rath Yatra. So we will do a short class. We'll try to end by 8:30. So we are in the 19th chapter of the first canto. This is the last chapter. So at first the sages at Naimisharanya had asked 6 questions of Suta Goswami. So we won't go into the details of those because that will take longer time. So after those questions were answered, then they asked a set of another set of questions. What were those questions? The questions were, when was the Srimad Bhagavatam spoken? Who is the speaker? And so at what time and under what circumstances was this Bhagavatam spoken? So in that context, we saw the conversation between Narad Muni and Vyasdev, that whole episode, how this Bhagavatam actually came to this world. Then the next question was about Parikshit Maharaj, for whose sake this Bhagavatam was spoken. So why Parikshit Maharaj decided to give up his life? He was so successful as a king and he was a great devotee, and everyone took shelter of him, and materially also he was very powerful. He was ruling, and even it is said even his enemies, that he didn't even have to fight with them. They would just come and surrender to him and give him all sorts of gifts. So he was having a very what do you say, advantageous position. And it's not that, he's a Vaishnava, so it's not that he'll take undue advantage of his position. He could have used that position that he had to help all people to progress in Krishna consciousness. Why did he give up? So those were the next set of questions about Parikshit Maharaj, about his birth and about his activities. So that whole section we saw already in the last few chapters, 16, 17, 18. And even before that also we saw about Parikshit Maharaj, about his birth. Then the next question was about Sukadev Goswami. Sukadev Goswami, how did he even come? What were the circumstances under which Sukadev Goswami came and met Parikshit Maharaj? And how did he stay? Usually he stays only for a short time, right? As long as it takes to milk a cow. He stayed for 7 days continuously to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. And an avadhut, right? He's just moving by his will in the forest here and there. How did Parikshit Maharaj find him? You know what? How did he meet? And what made him speak Srimad Bhagavatam? And also, how did they even recognize who he was? Because he appeared like a madman, because he didn't keep his, he didn't take care of his hair or anything. He was not even wearing clothes. How did they even recognize him that he's a Paramhamsa Vaishnava? So these were the questions. So all the other questions are answered. Now we are coming to the last question in the 19th chapter about Sukadev Goswami, how Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadev Goswami met. So in the end of the last chapter, we saw that Samika Rishi was very disturbed that his son has cursed Parikshit Maharaj to die in 7 days. So then he immediately sent a message after regretting it and seeing that there's no way that, this curse can be taken back. And the reasons were explained in the last verses, because Parikshit Maharaj is a Vaishnava, right? So then he saw the only course is to just inform him about the curse, that his son, his ignorant son, has cursed Parikshit Maharaj to die in 7 days. So he should now prepare for that moment. So when Parikshit Maharaj, 400. So Parikshit Maharaj thought, when he heard about this, first of all, he was already feeling very bad. So the first 3 verses of this chapter explain how he was feeling so bad. How did I even do this? And I should be punished for this. I should get a severe punishment for this. All my kingdom should be taken away from me. I should suffer for what I have done to the Brahmanas. He's a sage, a saintly person. So that I will not commit this type of offense ever again in future. And also, I will be relieved of this sinful activity. And also, my family members and my subjects, they may not have to suffer for my deeds. So let me suffer the reaction. He was thinking like this, and at that time, a disciple of Shamika Rishi comes and informs him about the curse and the message from Samika Rishi that you should now prepare. So when he heard this, what was Parikshit Maharaj's response to that? He actually took it very positively. It's good. He was waiting for that. Oh, good. Now I got the punishment. And then what did he do to prepare for that? He immediately gave up his kingdom. He did the needful, right? The next person who would take charge of the kingdom and everything. And then he just left. And where did he go to give up his life? He went to the bank of the Ganges, it is said. He went to sit on the bank of the Ganges to fast until death. To fast until death. So this verse is saying, so the previous verse said, Maharaj Parikshit sat down firmly on the banks of the Ganges. He sat on the banks of the Ganges to concentrate his mind in Krishna consciousness, rejecting all other practices of self-realization, because transcendental loving service to Krishna is the greatest achievement, superseding all other methods. So rejecting all other methods, he simply wanted to focus on Krishna during the last days of his life. And for that he went to the banks of the river Ganges. So today's verse is saying, the river Ganges by which the king sat to fast, what is the glory of this river Ganges? It carries the most auspicious water, which is mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord and tulsi leaves. Therefore, that water sanctifies the three worlds, inside and outside, and even sanctifies Lord Shiva and other demigods. Consequently, everyone who is destined to die must take shelter of this river. So, in this context, Srila Jiva Goswami says that actually this river Ganges is not river Ganges, it is river Yamuna. And he's giving a reason why it is river Yamuna and not river Ganges. Because Maharaj Parikshit's capital is Hastinapur, which is modern day Delhi. And we know Delhi is very close to Vrindavan. And the river Yamuna is flowing in Vrindavan past Delhi. So it is only likely that Parikshit Maharaj went to sit on the banks of river Yamuna, which was just flowing past his palace door, Srila Prabhupada says, rather than go and find river Ganga in some far off place. Because he didn't even have much time there, right? But also, what is the glory of river Yamuna? That is the significance. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying that this river Yamuna, the Lord spent more time with river Yamuna than with the river Ganges. Right from the beginning of his pastimes, he was associated with river Yamuna. For example, when he was a baby and he was being carried by, right after his appearance in Mathura, he was being carried by Vasudev from Mathura across the river Yamuna to Gokul. So baby Krishna fell in the water. And at that time, his lotus feet touched, played in the waters of the Yamuna, and the dust from the lotus feet of Krishna and the tulsi leaves, which are always on the lotus feet of Krishna, got mixed with the water of Yamuna. That is why in this verse it is said, Yavaila Sachri Tulasi Vimishra Krishnangri Renvabhyadi Kambu Netri. Sri Tulasi Vimishra. Sri Tulasi Vimishra means mixed with tulsi leaves. And Krishna Angri, the lotus feet of Krishna. Renu means dust. Abhyadikambu Netri. Netri means carrying. So this water, because of carrying the dust of Krishna's lotus feet and because of being mixed with tulsi leaves, is most auspicious. So this is the significance of river Yamuna. So yeah, so the water sanctifies the three worlds. So this water is so auspicious that it sanctifies the three worlds, upper, middle, and lower planetary systems, inside and outside. Inside and outside, and it also sanctifies all the demigods who are ruling these planetary systems, these planets. That is the glory of the river Yamuna. So it's also interesting in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying that when Krishna's lotus feet, because his lotus feet are besmeared with tulsi leaves, as soon as his lotus feet touch, you can take either river Ganges or river Yamuna, either way. But why these rivers are so glorious, we would think because Krishna's lotus feet are touching, therefore the rivers are glorious, isn't it? But it's very interesting. It is said because Krishna's lotus feet are always besmeared with tulsi leaves. So as soon as the lotus feet touch the river Ganga or Yamuna, the river becomes, both the rivers, they become purified, they become sanctified. So we can also see the glory of Tulsi Maharani here. Our worship is incomplete without Tulsi Maharani. What is the most powerful part of our daily sadhana? What is the most powerful part of our daily program.
Mangalarti.
Yes, Mataji. Mangalarti morning program, the entire morning program. That's the most powerful. Mangalarti, Narsing Arti, Tulsi Arti, Japa, morning Darshan Arti, Guru Puja, Srimad Bhagavatam class. Completely super packed, right? It's the super food for the soul, the morning program. So within this morning program, we also have Tulsi Puja, Tulsi Arti. And then what is the most attractive thing to attract people? If you ask devotees, most of the devotees, if you ask them what attracted them to Krishna consciousness?
Prasadam.
Prasadam. And prasadam, how can it become prasadam if you don't offer Tulsi? Krishna won't accept. So Tulsi Maharani plays a very, very significant role in our Krishna consciousness. She is there, but in such a subtle way, on the side, and, in a very humble way. She's there on the side, but yet she's playing the key role. Well, this is not from Shastra, it just came to my mind. So I'm saying it's like having salt, Nobody glorifies salt, but if there is no salt, immediately you can tell. What do you mean you can tell? You cannot even accept that prasadam. Without not saying, Tulsi Maharani is salt, but I'm just saying what a key role Tulsi Maharani plays. Of course, today's class is glorification of river Yamuna. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that because the Lord contacted the river Yamuna more than the Ganges. So the Varaha Purana, Srila Jiva Goswami is quoting Varaha Purana and saying that there's no difference between the water of Ganges and Yamuna. It's the same. But if you took bath in the Ganges 100 times, that would be whatever you would get, right? The bhakti or the piety, whatever you would get by taking bath in the Ganges 100 times, you would get that by taking bath in the Yamuna once. And to compare that, Srila Prabhupada is saying, when you chant the names of Vishnu, 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu, whatever progress you make, that can be made simply by chanting the name of Lord Rama once. And whatever progress you make by chanting the name of Lord Rama 3 times, you can make that progress simply by chanting the name of Krishna once. Simply to show what is the power, what is the potency. So I actually wanted to, there is a Yamunashtakam written by Srila Jiva Goswami in his Tavavali. I can share the screen if it's possible, and I will just recite that poem to conclude the class today. As I said, we will end the class early, and I'll read the translation. Yes, thank you, Mataji. Okay, so this is from Sri Vraja Riti Chintamani. There it is said, many greedy men will wait at a rich man's doorstep, hoping to meet him. Yes, wealthy people, they are very generous, they give donations. So many people are standing in line outside their door every day, hoping to meet him and hoping to get some benefits, hundreds and thousands of times over. In the same way, the Yamuna flows in a very winding course, greedy to get some of the wealth of Vrindavan forest. So like those people waiting at the door of a wealthy man, Yamuna Devi is flowing in a winding way in Vrindavan to get the dust of Vrindavan. They who offer respectful obeisances to her or bathe in her waters, the Yamuna, which is like a moat of black mascara encircling Vrindavan, transforms into pure devotees carrying Lord Krishna in their hearts. That means anyone who takes bath in the river Yamuna, she will transform their hearts into pure devotees of Krishna. And how do we offer obeisances to Yamuna Devi? There are many ways we can offer our respectful obeisances to Yamuna. A good way is to pray to her. One prayer I can share is Yamunashtakam, written by Rupa Goswami. Coming from the heart of Srila Rupa Goswami, we can understand its potency. and he requests her to flood that person with pure devotional service who recites these 8 prayers with a cheerful heart. Okay, I need help here because I'll just I'll hear the meter once and then I can recite. Okay, so I will recite the shloka and we will read the translation. भ्रातुरन्तकस्य पत्तने विपत्तिहारिणि प्रेक्षयाति पापिनोऽपि पापसिन्धुतारिणि नीरमाधुरीभिरप्यशेषचित्तबन्धिनि मां पुनातु सर्वदारविन्दबन्धुनन्दिनि. May Yamuna Devi, the daughter of Surya Dev, always purify me. She saves all who touch her from going to the realm of her brother Yamaraj and enables even greatly wicked persons who see her to cross the ocean of their sinful deeds. Her attractive water charms the hearts of everyone. हारिवारिधारयाभिमण्डितोरुखाण्डवा पुण्डरीकमण्डलोद्यदन्तजालिताण्डवा स्नानकामपामरोग्रपापसम्पदन्धिनि मां पुनातु सर्वदारविन्दबन्धुनन्दिनि. Yamuna Devi adorns Indra's great Khandava forest with her enchanting current, and upon her blooming lotus flowers, various birds are always dancing, simply desiring to bathe in her pleasant crystalline waters, frees one from even the greatest of sins. May Yamuna Devi, the daughter of Surya Dev, always purify me. शिकाराभिमृष्टजन्तुदुर्विपाकमर्दिनि नन्दनन्दनन्तराङ्गभक्तिपूरवर्धिनि तीरसङ्गमाभिलाषि मङ्गलानुबन्धिनि मां पुनातु सर्वदारविन्दबन्धुनन्दिनि. Sprinkling a single drop of her water upon oneself destroys the reaction of most heinous crimes. She increases the flow of confidential devotional service, Raganuga Bhakti, for Nanda Nandana within one's heart and blesses everyone who simply desires to reside on her banks. May Yamuna Devi, the daughter of Surya Dev, always purify me. द्वीपचक्रवालजुष्टसप्तसिन्धुभेदिनि श्रीमुकुन्दनिर्मितोरुदिव्यकेदिनि कान्तिकण्डलीभिरिन्द्रनीलवृन्दनिन्दनि निन्दिनि मां पुनातु सर्वदारविन्दबन्धुनन्दिनि. Yamuna Devi is so powerful that although she flows through the 7 oceans which surround the earth's 7 islands, she never merges with them. Being witness to many of Sri Mukunda's wonderful pastimes, she manifests these pastimes in the hearts of those who take shelter of her. Her dark, shimmering beauty defeats the splendor of precious blue sapphires. May Yamuna Devi, the daughter of Surya Dev, always purify me. माथुरेण मण्डलेन चारुणाभिमण्डिता प्रेमनद्धवैष्णवाध्ववर्धनाय पण्डिता ऊर्मिदोर्विलासपद्मनाभपादवन्दिनी मां पुनातु सर्वदारविन्दबन्धुनन्दिनी. Ornamented with the supremely enchanting land of Mathura Mandala, Yamuna Devi skillfully inspires love of Godhead, Prema, in the hearts of the Vaishnavas who bathe in her. With playful waves, which are like her moving arms, She worships Padmanabha, Sri Krishna's lotus feet. May Yamuna Devi, the daughter of Surya Dev, always purify me. रम्यतीररम्भमान गोकदम्ब भूषिता दिव्यगन्धभाक्कदम्ब पुष्पराजिरूषिता नन्दसून संगमाभिनन्दिनी मां पुनातु सर्वदारविन्दबन्धुनन्दिनी. Yamuna Devi's charming banks are further beautified by the fragrance from the flowers of Kadamba trees and by loving cows. She is especially delighted when Nandalal's devotees assemble on her banks. May Yamuna Devi, the daughter of Surya Dev, always purify me. पुल्लपक्षमल्लिकाक्षहंसलक्षकूजिता भक्तिविद्धदेवसिद्धकिन्नरालिपूजिता हीरगन्धवाहगन्धजन्मबन्धरन्धिनी मां पुनातु सर्वदारविन्दबन्धुनन्दिनी. Filled with the warbling of thousands of joyful swans, Yamuna Devi is worshipable to demigods, siddhas, kinnaras, and humans whose hearts are dedicated to the service of Sri Hari. Anyone who is touched by her gentle breeze is freed from the cycle of birth and death. May Yamuna Devi, the daughter of Surya Dev, always purify me. Chidvilasavari pura bhurvuvaswarapini कीर्तितापि दुर्मदोरु पापमर्मतापिनी वल्लवेन्द्र नन्दनङ्गरागभङ्गगन्धिनी मां पुनातु सर्वदारविन्दबन्धुनन्दिनी. Yamuna Devi flows through the three worlds known as Bhu, Bhuva, and Swaha and distributes her loving emotions. Singing her glories burns even the greatest sins to ashes. She has become fragrant by the scented ointments from the body of King Nanda's son Sri Krishna, who enjoys play in her waters. May Yamuna Devi, the daughter of Surya Dev, always purify me. तुष्टबुद्धिरष्टकेन निर्मलोर्मिचेष्टितं त्वम् अनेन भानुपुत्रि सर्वदेव वेष्टितं यः स्तवीति वर्धयस्य सर्वपापमोचने भक्तिपूरमस्य देवि पुण्डरीकलोचने. O Suryaputri, Devi, O Yamuna, whose waves are very purifying and who is surrounded by all the demigods, for those who recite with cheerful heart this prayer, please increase their bhakti for lotus-eyed Sri Krishna, who liberates all persons from their sins. So that was Yamuna Ashtaka. Rupa Goswami is praying that anyone who sings the glories of Yamuna Devi with a cheerful heart, he's praying to her. So we get double benefit by singing his prayers. We get the mercy of Yamuna Devi, but we also get the blessings of Rupa Goswami, who is praying for the reciter that please fill this person's heart with pure love for Krishna, Nanda Nandana. So that is why here it is said in the translation, consequently, everyone who is destined to die must take shelter of this river. That was the last line. So I will end there. It's already 8:35. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much. I know everybody is in a rush to leave. And Mother Meeta, did you have something you wanted to add? I saw you unmute yourself.
Thank you, Mataji. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you so much for the beautiful lecture. We'll see you at New York. I'm planning to go by public transport.
So I think a good thing to do today would be to also meditate on all the different pastimes Krishna performed within the Yamuna, Kaliya Damana,
Yes.
Everything happened on the banks of the river.
Yamuna.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you very much for that Yamunashtakam also. I'll probably have to pull it up and print it up for all the ladies in the house now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody have a very, very wonderful time at New York Rath Yatra. Please pray for me also.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
श्री जगन्नाथ रथ यात्रा की जय, जगन्नाथ स्वामी की जय, सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय।
जय
वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय।
जय